This bread doesn't need kneading, you don't need a machine, and it ends up with this crunchy crust that looks like it came from an artisan bakery.
If you've never made bread before, this recipe is for you. The yeast and thyme do the work for us.
And you only need flour, water, salt, and yeast. See how easy it is? You just have to calculate the amounts. I'm going to measure it with a scale. If you don't have one, you can use cups. Look, 1, 2, very heaping, 3 and a little more, because with the 3 really heaping ones, we're almost going to reach half a kilo. In total, half a kilo of flour. I use all-purpose flour, but you can use bread flour as well. Once you have it heated up and have measured the flour, you need to add the rest of the ingredients. So use a big bowl. Add some salt to taste. They usually estimate that for half a kilo, you should add between 5 and 8 grams. Once you've added the salt, spread it around a bit. Why? Because salt slows down the power of the yeast. So if you've already mixed it with the flour, that effect is greatly reduced. And now we add 5 or 6 grams or 1 packet of dry baker's yeast. If you want to use fresh yeast, you need to add 2.5 times as much. That is about 12 or 13 grams. Once you have it, just like before, give it a few stirs so it's well distributed before moistening this dough. And don't worry, we're not going to look for any strange liquid for these 50 milliliters. I also weigh them so I don't make a mistake. I make a sort of well in the flour and inside, without any complications, no fuss, no tricks, no cheating. And now let's get mixing. You'll notice it initially struggles to mix together. But once the moisture starts getting into the flour mixture, a kind of sticky dough starts to form. And don't worry, this is exactly what we were looking for.
Don't knead it, just combine it. The dough should be sticky.
Then flour your hands so it doesn't stick and give it a little wiggle. Don't worry, you won't be working too much. Just enough so it comes off completely. In fact, if you do it on a countertop or a table where you've sprinkled a little flour, it'll be even easier. It's a matter of a minute, 2 minutes at most. The goal is simply to get the outside texture to be, that is, you need to make sure it forms a little ball. Like this, just by mixing in the flour from the countertop and making sure the outside is smooth. When you see it's like this, just shape it into a ball and try to tighten it a little, more or less like you see here. A ball that could even be used for bowling. All right, into the same bowl as before.
When making the dough ball, it's important that there's a bit of tension so you see the dough looking smooth and tight.
Perfect.
Far from it. How should it look? A little stretched like this? That's more than enough.
But make sure to cover it with a lid or a cloth.
And now, we've already done almost all the work. Now time does the work, and I'll give you 2 options. You can leave it at room temperature for 12 to 24 hours, so you prepare it the day before, and then all you have to do is bake it. But if you prefer, you can do it even earlier, up to 3 days in the fridge. And honestly, it's not just that there's no problem, the result is actually even better. Enjoy your meal.
When you're ready to make the bread, check how much the dough has risen. And now with wet hands, you gently separate it a bit from the edge. If you want something even more efficient and you have one of these silicone spatulas, look how easy it is. Just give it a few taps and it will come off the edge. This way you can release it onto a countertop dusted with flour or a silicone mat like this one. Just flip it over and use the same spatula to give it a little leverage, and it will come off. Don't just jam your hand in there. We want to keep the bubbles inside. And now you shape it. Don't make it complicated. don't knead it. We just want it to look like bread. So don't flatten it. If it sticks a little, flour is what helps us unstick it today. And once you have a shape similar to a loaf, it's time to stretch it by the two sides, making sure the surface is nice and tight.
The secret is to trap the heat. If you have a closed metal pot, perfect. Just make sure it's oven safe. And if not, use a pan that's a bit deep. Any pan or container that you can put in the oven will work. Just make sure it's a bit tall so you can cover it. Yes, I know not everyone has a lid. Not everyone has a lid that can go in the oven and withstand the heat. That's okay. Look, I'm going to do it without one. I'll explain the trick to make one up, just inventing it completely.
I use this pan, for example. It's 20 centimeters in diameter, and I put a bit of parchment paper on the bottom to make sure it comes out perfectly. Then I take the bread, I handle it gently so I don't squash it too much, and I put it directly into the pan. There it is, nice and gentle, nice and gentle. Once I have it here, what do I have to do next? Make a little cut. If you do it like this in a crescent shape, about a centimeter deep and not right in the center, it'll turn out better. And then the lid, like I promised you, just with aluminum foil. You don't need anything special, nothing specific. A bit of aluminum foil, press it down and into the oven. In this case, we've preheated it at 250 degrees Celsius, which is about 480 Fahrenheit. You'll get heat from both the top and bottom. After 25 minutes, remove the lid or aluminum foil. And once you've done that, put it back in for another 25 minutes or till you see it's nice and golden brown. Because it's true that not all ovens are the same and not all pans distribute heat the same way. Once you take it out, you're almost done. Time to enjoy. Thank you. When you take it out, the first thing you have to do is cover it and let it cool down, covered with a cloth. About 10 minutes will be enough. Then your super bread is ready. Take off the paper from the bottom because now it's time to enjoy. Look how amazing it looks. Perfect, golden and crispy. You don't believe me? Listen, listen. Amazing. Crispy and soft. Equal parts.
Pay attention now and look at the crumb. If you like homemade bread, especially if it's a good loaf, save this recipe because it's going to save you many meals. Also, it's a really interesting bread because it lets you play around with flavors. I mean, it's great sliced for spreading things on, and it's great for making toast. It's great to eat on its own, for dipping, or to make it into garlic bread or cheese bread. Maybe I'll show you how to do that next time. Does that sound like a good idea?